What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks in the MLB streets. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. It is early. It is 1 week, officially 1 week into the MLB season. I will say one of the things that I'm definitely learning about myself over doing these videos the last couple of years is that early in the MLB season, it's just always rough. It's never like a perfect read. It doesn't feel right. And I'm not going to go out of my way to force it for you here in some of these spots. I want to talk you through and give you the best analysis I can. I know some people just want to get the picks. Well, you'll get a number of picks, a lot of things that I've already bet here, but no locks that are going to be on the card here for the MLB streets for tonight, just to kind of be able to regroup a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a very good week for me overall. I don't think that there's any secret to that, specifically in the plays that I was heavier on. And that's where it's frustrating. Casey Mize, ends up getting to 4 strikeouts there on the number, ended up betting 3.5, 4, and 4.5 in the premium Discord, but lost like 0.2 units there. And then the rest of the day, there was just nothing that looked good on the card in the MLB streets because it's early. We're accumulating sample size. I am very data driven, and it's hard to work with a lot of new sample sizes. And oh, this guy has this velocity. He just went up 2 miles per hour from where he did in spring training. That's a little bit frustrating, but there's no doubt that if you have hung with me here over the last couple of years, we really hit our stride about that 3-4 week mark. That's kind of usually where we really see our benefits of this work come in. So again, I do think everybody's flying a little bit blind with the ball. Hey, is it flying the same way with the temperature? It is very cold a lot of places. And then pitchers that, well, you're trying things out in spring training. There aren't as many auditions to be able to go out and, you have to earn that 5th starter job. No, it's usually a young guy who should get a chance, or it's a vet that we kind of know who they are, and then they just find ways to be a good pitcher in cold weather. Kyle Hendricks, I'm looking at you. I don't know what I'm going to do there in that spot, but we'll talk about this as we go along here. We have massive slates in MLB and NBA. I guarantee you there's going to be something that I end up firing a unit on, a full unit and a half cent, but it isn't showing up here to me the night before, and I don't want to give you bad information. So cool, great. No bad information. That's kind of what we're going for. Might give you a shit pick or two because I did a good job of that here at times, but I want to keep myself honest a little bit. And also the premium Discord, that's going to definitely be where I'm going to be spending all day tomorrow. We have baseball starting early. It is throughout the afternoon into the evening. NBA, 12 games, I believe, in the NBA streets too. Producer Jacob just shaking his head. What a time to be alive. But enough talking here. I will fly through these picks. I promise you, my friends. Producer Jacob, hi. Hello. BetMGM. We'll talk about them later. Let's get to the picks. See, in a perfect world, I would love to go out of my way and just attack Yusei Kikuchi here in this spot because there are priors. I have priors on certain guys. I think a lot of people do. And Jose Barrios, priors didn't end up going well. Yusei Kikuchi, we've seen him improve at times, but the strikeout stuff has come way down in recent years. I mean, 27.3% to 25.9%, only one outing, 18.2%. So not much to mine out of that, but constantly 5.63 expected ERA in 2022, a 6.09 in that first start here. Out of the gate, gave up what? Hard contact. Not very much of it that time around, but in the past, north of a 47% hard hit percentage in 2 of his past 4 seasons. Definitely somebody who's prone to getting lit up at times, also prone to finding strikeouts at times. So definitely feels like one of those guys that can be boom bust. And well, what a perfect early MLB comp, everything I was talking about there in the intro. Don't want to go completely nuts here in this spot. Want to be paying very close attention to velocity. Want to pay close attention to lineups and how they're rolling out on a day in, day out basis and try to react to some things. In fact, so much so that I think there's enough variance to go towards the Yusei Kikuchi side of things. Because on the other side, taking the ball for the Yankees, Marcus Stroman, we've seen him with the Cubs, we saw him with the Mets, we've seen him with a number of different teams here. And I think the main constant for Marcus Stroman's career is he's never going to be pretty in the strikeout column. It's just never going to be there in any way, shape, or form. But it is something where the 5'7", it's like 170, 175 pounds soaking wet, small guy up there on the mound, finds ways to pitch, finds ways to be an athlete. And he's done that pretty much his entire big league career. So shout out to him for that at least. But yeah, Toronto, Mets, Cubs, all of the places that he saw in the past, he tries to pitch around certain inadequacies he has. No fastball velocity. He gets no swing and miss, but he does a great job of limiting barrels and getting ground balls. And that's really the name of the game when it comes to like being a successful major league pitcher if you can't miss bats. Toronto money line now. It's a pretty big number here. It's a pretty big number. I don't know. Probably not going to be firing it up here, so we're going to pass. And wouldn't you know, my camera's being a pain in the ass as we go to JP Sears taking on Tariq Skubal. Going to be a pain in the ass to have to face him if you're the Oakland Athletics. We are very, very early here in the season. Obviously, I don't want to be citing too many like, oh, this team is that or this team is that. Oakland is terrible. I think we all know that. I think the books know that. I think that's why it's plus 195. You want to go back them. Getting nearly 2-1 here on a team that's played, what, 5-6 games? It's been like the season just started, friends. And we've got Oakland 2-1 here because they're that kind of a team. We'll say getting out of their home ballpark, generally a grade up, but not in Detroit. Not going to look that good for hitting. And it's going to look especially bad for hitting when you have Tariq Skubal. Again, he's somebody that I think you could have taken a sprinkle preseason, like 40-1, I think, Cy Young market. Would have definitely made some sense there if you were such interested in such things, because that first outing wasn't going to sway you from anything. The 27-year-old goes out, 6 strikeouts in 6 innings, gives up no earned runs. Just love to see it. 1.5 expected ERA as well. Again, I cite a lot more expected numbers because they're more predictive of the future than what, oh, you are what your numbers say you are. Not always with ERA, not always with batting average. There are different waves to this, which is, again, it's a very data-driven, numbers-driven sport. We want to be accumulating sample size here early in the season. So Tariq Skubal, though, love everything that we saw of him. Pitching performance going to be more predictive. Again, that's why I emphasize starting pitching as much as what I do. Emphasize bullpens in my analysis. I've been doing that more and more here for the people. When I talk about the analysis, it's always baked into the numbers. But anyway, you don't care about that. You care, do I have a pick? Sure do. Tariq Skubal under 1.5 earned runs here. JP Sears on the other side. He's actually what I believe the second best arm that they have there in Oakland right now. That's not ideal. But anyway, we're not even going to worry about that one because nobody wants to back Oakland. Don't tell me you do. I guess if it were to be like plus 225, I'd back Oakland. Maybe that shows up. But anyway, under 1.5 total earned runs. That's a pretty nifty one. Again, Oakland. Absolutely nothing against righties, absolutely nothing against lefties, taking on a lefty here in this specific spot. Oakland isn't striking out a ton against them for what it's worth. Only 31 plate appearances, but 9.7% strikeout rate would be the best. But let's just keep in mind, very small sample size. The Dodgers, the Cubs, they're going to the south. Well, no, again, east side, or north side. It's by the lake. Somebody from Chicago definitely clarified that for me on the last show. Again, I knew that. I was there at Wrigley Field, summer and a half ago? Well, that makes no sense. 2 summers ago is what I was trying to say. I don't make a lot of sense sometimes. It's okay. This makes sense. Bobby Miller, I've said it forever. I love the stuff. It made no sense to me that last season, how many times did we back him? 1-6. Like, by far my worst player prop performance on an individual, taking overs of his K props. And of course, what did he do in the very first outing of the season? He eviscerated. Looked unflippin' believable. 99 in velo, 100 on the gun, 11 strikeouts against the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals, well, they got some problems. They got some things to deal with, if you will. If you are not hitting well in LA weather, and I know it was a little bit spotty there on the Friday, Saturday. You had the Yoshi. I'm excited to talk him again. I know he'll be pitching tomorrow. I'm going to miss the opportunity to talk about him, but we'll say that this is going to be a guy, Bobby Miller, that I will want to back along with the public. But the weather is just so bad here with the wind blowing in, 40 degrees. It's going to be so good for pitching. And that's where Kyle Hendricks said it at the onset of this show. I wanted to bet this so bad, but this is going to be one of the more publicly backed plays. And Dodgers, yeah, I did lock them the other day, unsuccessfully, of course. You got the Jorge Soler 8th inning bomb, and I just threw my phone on the ground. Not in like a mean-spirited way. Didn't want to hurt the phone, but needed to get some aggression out. That's what the Dodgers will try to do to Kyle Hendricks, but I don't know if they'll be successful in this kind of a game environment. This weather in Wrigley is something, and despite a horrible start to his season going up against the Rangers, they are the Rangers for what it's worth. I mean, they're the Rangers. It was in Texas. It was in Arlington. That was never going to go well for Kyle Hendricks. He's effective enough in terms of expected ERA from his 2023 numbers, 4.13, 3.75 ERA. He's just one of those like prototypical guys I talked about with Marcus Stroman, just kind of knows how to go about his business, isn't going to get swing and miss. 16.1% K rate last season, was one of the bottom 10% of starting pitchers in baseball. But despite the bad first start, I don't think I'm going to pick on him here. I'm still going to go Dodgers -1.5. I think they're going to be one of the most backed teams on the run line in the history of baseball, perhaps this season, because everybody looks at that lineup and sees what I see. So it is what it is. But even at even money here, considering the 7 total, considering, again, I found an adjusted total for what it's worth. I apologize, producer Jacob didn't send that over to you. I'm a jerk. I think it's going to open at 7. But anyway, Dodgers -1.5. Not going to bet it, though. Again, this is like the inverse of whatever we just saw and accumulating sample size. But we have a sample size of baseball being played on the moon in Colorado. And it's fun baseball. 12.5 total. Our first foray to Coors Field, the best ballpark in baseball for offense. Now, not the best for home runs. Going to be behind. You guessed it. Great American Small Park. There's a reason we call that on this show. But anywho, 12.5 total. That's wild because it's Austin Gomber taking on Mr. Zach Littell. Zach Littell. This is going to be an interesting one because he had a pretty decent little debut himself. I was curious to see where this number was going to jump right from the onset because, again, it's just one start. And you go back to like previous seasons for him, he limits walks. That's what he did all of last season. But a 4.24 expected ERA, that was higher than the 2 previous seasons for him. And yeah, Toronto might be bad, which is weird. Again, they might be. They started poorly. They've had no hit, and there's things going on with them. But again, it's early in the season. We'll let the wheels start sputtering a little bit, and then we'll look back and maybe laugh, or maybe we'll look back and say, yeah, no, that all made sense. But right now, Zach Littell, I have no idea what to make of him because, well, he's just not a great pitcher, but looked pretty decent. Looking at the velocity, it wasn't really there at 90. He's never going to be a velocity type dude. Again, 94, sorry. It was listed differently. But 19.5% K rate last season. If you're not missing bats, and Chris Bryant, I mean, man, don't want to talk about a terrible beginning to a season. That guy is just struggling. But Tampa Bay is going to have a lot of fun up against Austin Gomber, more than likely. This guy has never missed bats at any point. 14.4% K rate last season, over 2,000 pitches. 18% K rate in 2022, over 2,000 pitches. Pitches a lot, but pitches poorly. 5.74 expected ERA. And don't forget, expected ERA doesn't adjust for the ballpark. So it takes into account like neutral conditions. You throw him out there in Coors Field, and yeah, the 5.50 ERA, actual ERA is always going to look worse for these starting pitchers. You get at altitude. For people who don't know, you lose a lot of the spin that you might have on some of your breaking stuff. Makes it a little bit easier to make contact. And then ball goes further in the air, the thin Colorado air. Welcome, friends. It's going to be fun to watch, but I'm actually going to be targeting Littell with one specific bat here, and it's just going through the early profile of batters. And I do think we are going to get better than plus 350, plus 400, because again, it's not the easiest. So like it will have the most run creation, but for a lefty, home runs, there's better ballparks that exist here in baseball. But I'm looking at Nolan Jones here. 53.8% hard hit percentage in the early season here, has struck out a boatload, 44% K rate. But you're going to face a starter that presumably isn't going to be missing many bats. If they're going to miss a bat, they're probably going to miss Nolan Jones's. But if it connects, we have an opportunity to back him, knowing we're probably getting plus money, or not, we're definitely getting plus money. I'm saying really good plus money, north of the plus 350, plus 400 type number here. And he'll be near the top of the order where he's been so far this season. I really like backing this one. Going back to last year's sample size, 41.3% hard hit. But yeah, it's going to be going up from there. He's somebody that still has the jury out on him as a 25-year-old, but I think we have immense power in that bat. One of my favorite home runs potentially to target based on where that number drops. I may not have a lock for you today, but friends, the OS Premium Tools, there's always a lock up at the top of the Positive EV board over there. Discord insider access as well. Talk you through the plays that I add to my card, and tomorrow, promise you, I'm going to be in there. We're going to be spending some time. We're going to be betting some things. MLB, NBA. It's been a crazy, crazy busy week. And again, trying to pay attention to as many sports as possible. I want to be a little bit cautious the night before, especially in the baseball streets here going forward, because I don't want to give bad information. Don't want you to be mad at me right from the get-go here, because I promise we will get firing. I love MLB betting. It has been my most profitable for the last couple of years. Let me show you that in the premium Discord here over a week or two sample size here coming up as we start accumulating the sample size. But $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly. Let's slash that by 20%, shall we? Promo code Lindy, 20% off. Great timing there, producer Jacob. Expert picks, Discord, premium tools. Yeah, I can read. Look at that. All in one package. Great stuff. Signing up at the link below. Promo code Lindy gets you 20% off. And again, the Positive EV tool, that is the name of the game, the market-based approach. Come hang out. Come learn how we go about making the monies. All right, back to the picks we go. You want my pseudo lock? Like if you made me lock a baseball game in a specific spot, this is probably the one that I would be the most interested in saying that. So potentially, hey, producer Jacob, social, ready? I don't know why I clapped my hands. I could have just said now starting, or it's not a great start. But we're looking at Baltimore here with Grayson Rodriguez. I said this before, I'll say it again. He's the young arm that I really like for Baltimore. We talked about him multiple times last year. Thought he was a great back when you got Baltimore as dogs on the road. We had absolutely, like dogs were barking with Baltimore. We had great opportunities, and Grayson Rodriguez was one of my favorites to go fire up in those scenarios. He was 7-4 on the season. So again, 23 starts though, 1.34 whip, 4.35 ERA. Again, that's not indicative of how well I believe he pitched. 4.21 expected ERA, 43.7% hard hit. We can live with that. But a 25% K rate and over 2,100 pitches, I feel pretty good about that. 8.2% walk rate. These are really, really good things. Now, he is going to be going into Pittsburgh, looking at some of the weather here early. Obviously, things can change, but looking at PNC Park for tomorrow, going to be cold, 42 degrees at first pitch, but wind is blowing out to center right here. It's a little bit muted over there by the river, but definitely seen Anthony Rizzo hit some bombs there back in his Cubs days. PNC Park, definitely going to be a fun one to try to attack the Pirates, especially if they're getting any love in the early portion of this season. But I will say, it's not easy knowing how many lefties there are that have a lot of pop in that bat. Jack Sawinski leading the charge. O'Neal Cruz from his spring training numbers for sure. There are definitely some guys that you have to be looking out for. Even righties like Connor Joe goes yard today. Brian Hayes, things like that, where there are definitely potential spots, landmines, if you will, for Grayson Rodriguez if the wind is blowing that strong out to center to right. But the strikeout stuff looks great from the onset, and he'll be going up against Jared Jones. And Jared Jones, potential stud, 2020 draft pick, second rounder here. 2.99 expected ERA in that first outing. We have a lot to figure out about him, but 10 strikeouts definitely catches your attention in 5 2/3 innings against the Miami Marlins. Now, the Marlins, I think we expect them to strike out a little bit, but still, there's nothing that I could possibly dissuade to say that that isn't an impressive number. But Baltimore is a completely different beast here. And I do think that this is a lineup that I've been waiting to back. I didn't back them there at home because I thought the weather neutralized it a little bit. I think it's kind of the opposite here, where I think you're going to get a lot of dudes. The Gunnar Henderson, wind at your back. Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santander, Adley Rutschman, even the back half of the lineup. I mean, Cedric Mullins, an all-star from 2 seasons ago, had a really, really down last season, that's for sure, but still somebody that I think can be effective here. 37.1% hard hit. Let's get that one up here, that's for sure. That would be fun, Cedric. But overall, friends, this is a Baltimore Orioles lineup that you like. You should like. Hell, I like their AAA team more than I like Oakland's lineup top to bottom. That might be a hot take. Probably not. Did you guys see what they did the other night? Stowers is sick. Well, pretty much that entire top of the lineup is sick. Just wait till you see Jackson Holiday, too. It's going to be fun. Actually, it's not going to be fun for the AL. It's not. But it's going to be fun for us tomorrow here. Money line, Baltimore. I like it. Again, if you made me pick a lock, like if you just said, hey, I'm only going to play one thing of yours, make it Baltimore money line tomorrow. I will also clarify, Baltimore money line minus 132 over on FanDuel, so a little bit better than that number. Wouldn't want to be playing it too far outside of like the minus 145, minus 150 realm, where I think it is going to end up tomorrow. Cool. Well, all the more incentive to listen as opposed to just scanning the picks. But I know some of you don't have the time to listen to everything, so I apologize to the scan the picks people. jump in the premium Discord. You'll see everything. You'll see all the things. But anyway, San Diego taking on San Francisco. Enough talking about that. Let's talk about this one. Dylan Cease on the mound. I like Dylan Cease. I don't know how you wouldn't. This is a great acquisition here for San Diego. Great first debut, if you will. Had a little bit of walks creeping in there. But again, it's one start. Was like pretty muted as is. But 4 2/3, 6 strikeouts. Everything was in its right place. 1.96 expected ERA, despite the fact that in the outing itself, he ended up getting a little bit unlucky there. 2 earned attached to the 4 2/3. So the whiff percentage right back where it's supposed to be. The fastball velo, 95.5, 96 looks good to me. Again, it's one start, so we're not going to go completely nuts. But Dylan Cease, I think we could definitely see the potential that exists for him in a San Diego uniform pitching in the NL West. Again, a lot of good ballparks outside of course, Coors Field. Jordan Hicks, he's going to be on the other side of this one. Jordan Hicks is definitely somebody to be excited about if you're San Francisco, a 27-year-old with all the flame-throwing capability and all of the land. I love him. He's really fun to watch. Throws it so damn hard every single time he goes up there. The walks, I think, might be something that creep back up again. Back in 2022, a 13.3% walk rate, 11.2% last season. Didn't have any walks creep up in that first start. But again, one of those uncomfortable feelings knowing that somebody could put a couple on, give up one moonshot, and that's all she wrote. But I do think that this is a spot where Dylan Cease is the more preferable guy. You have his strikeout stuff, his ability that has been proven over a larger sample size than that of Jordan Hicks. And I feel a lot more secure with that. Plus, you look at San Francisco, 25.6% K rate against righties so far this season, just a 90 WRC plus. And we're going into one of the best pitcher-friendly ballparks in baseball. A little bit of insurance there. The pitch count, I think we're going to be okay. We're going to see these guys elevate maybe 5-10 pitches each start. And I think Dylan Cease is a decent back at 6.5 Ks if we get something better than this minus 140 crap that is showing up here. So I'm going to call it a lean, but keep your eye on it. Might even looking at like an adjusted line and maybe finding ourselves like 8 Ks plus or something like that, really shooting for it. Those have been looking better. There's lots of places where you can identify that those are going to be positive EV, and I'm working on something over here. Hopefully we can have something operational for the people so we can have some of those adjusted lines baked in to the positive EV tool. Super quick, super easy here. Jose Quintana, Hunter Green. You probably know by now. Hunter Green, the talent tantalizes me. I'm sure it tantalizes Cincinnati too, but if he's not hurt, there are times where he's just given up crazy moon balls. Gave up infinity home runs in 2022. Broke my heart, but you know what? He's still freaking good. 4 expected ERA in that season. 2023, 3.82. And then this year, 4.02 in that first start. 100 pitches. 100 pitches right out the get-go against Washington. That's fun to be paying attention to. So again, 100 pitches is more than the average bear. The walks, they're generally below 10%, so I'm not going to read too much into that first start with the 4 walks that he had going there. But this is just like a no-brainer. I'll back my guy. I'll just back my guy at this kind of a number. Minus 120 right out the get-go on the money line here against a Mets team that... I don't know if you noticed this. They're not playing very good baseball here early on. And Jose Quintana, he's not one of my favorite pitchers to be backing. Now, this is a very small ballpark. This is going to be high variance. This is going to be something where runs are higher projected. 9 total. But guess what? Hunter Green's the much better pitcher. And so far, this has been the much better lineup between the two. It's such an easy play for me here. Adding this to the card, Cincy money line. If you want to just bet Baltimore money line, Cincinnati money line, and live your life, happy Friday. Do it. Friends, BetMGM, you want to be getting exposure to all these sports books right now so you can shop for the best lines every single day because, what, we're going to be betting baseball 180, 200 days coming up here together? That's a wild amount of baseball that we are looking at here. So we're going to take our time, but guess what? If you can save 2 cents here or 5 cents there on every single bet you make throughout the season, it adds up like crazy. Adds up like crazy. It's like getting coffee at home. It's exactly like getting coffee at home. Save yourself some money, my friends. And also, they're going to give you an awesome deal like this. First bet safety net up to $1,500 in bonus bets on that first play. You might want to take advantage, huh? Good, great, grand. Sounds awesome. Back to the picks we go. Oh, hang on. Got to throw this in. If you're 21 and over, if you have gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That is very important. Now back to the picks we go. My reads will get better on this program. They're pretty good in the end. Well, no, my reads are never really that good. But check out BetMGM because, again, shopping for the best odds, and especially if they give you cool stuff, that matters. But Aaron Nola taking on Patrick Corbin, Mismatch City in River City with a capital T that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. Have I done Music Man twice this week? It's not a good look. Aaron Nola's a good look, though. He's good at pitching, but not last time out. It was pretty brutal. It was just one start. It's Aaron Nola. I feel like we said this last couple of years. Sometimes it's like, is Aaron Nola washed? Is he 3.71 expected ERA is still awesome from last year. 2.74 expected ERA the year before it was awesomer, but he's still a very good pitcher. Got pretty unlucky last year. 4.46 ERA, 3.71 expected. Come on now. But I'm actually looking at Patrick Corbin here because Patrick Corbin is still pitching in Major League Baseball right now. I don't know what to make of this, but I do know that we must punish the Washington Nationals for their sins. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this. Figuring out what can I possibly bet on that could truly give me the maximum amount of upside in this spot if I am correct. Well, Patrick Corbin is truly terrible. He's still horrendous at this point in his career. He used to be one of the most tantalizing arms in all of baseball back in 2015, 16, 17. Pretty good years for him there. 2018, I believe, was his best year of his career, but that's beside the point. He had a 6.16 expected ERA last season. The year before, at 6.41. Did he take some magical elixir over the offseason? Goes up against Cincinnati? Somehow? Survive? No. He did not. He gave up 2 home runs in that spot. I don't think this is going to be something that the books are not aware of, but one thing that's fun is if somebody hasn't hit a home run yet this season, you might be getting better numbers than you think on them potentially. And I was waiting all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue to find this home run prop, and it's still not posted. They have every other prop posted besides home run plays because in Washington, wind is expected to be blowing out a little bit to right field, 10 miles per hour tomorrow. I do think, friends, that it is the first home run opportunity of the season for Trey Turner. Now, it's not his first opportunity for it, but our first opportunity to bet him. I think we're going to be getting a decent number. We'll also be looking, I don't think there'll be a ton of left-on-left crime, but Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, they can do left-on-left crime. I have no problem with that, but Trey Turner, we're going to be firing him up here, friends. 61.5% hard hit percentage, 10-degree launch angle. We can get it up a little bit, but he's hitting the ball so hard to not be yard yet. It's coming, and it's coming against Patrick Corbin. It's not a hot take. Give me better than plus 340. It's going to be automatically on the card. Spencer Strider, he's very good at throwing baseballs, right? Yeah, no, he is. He's going to be hosting Arizona here. Atlanta getting home finally. There you go. And it's kind of an interesting arm. Brought him up a couple of times last year just because he exists. And I have to break down everybody. But Tommy Henry, 21.1% K rate from his first start. Yeah, it's going to not be there. Let's just throw it out that way. 17% over the course of his Major League Baseball career, but north of a 4. But he does a good job of one thing and one thing owning. That is limiting hard contact. That's what you really got to do against the Atlanta Braves. You got to limit hard contact and also probably pray. You should probably pray or to whomever you want. You need help. But Arizona, as good as they are from time to time, and again, Arizona, NL defending champion, Arizona Diamondbacks. I want to attack this one for sure, friends. This is definitely where I want to be going. Spencer Strider, we were going to back him the other day, and that did not come to fruition because weather is a thing that exists in the world. But his first start against the Phillies there on the 29th, 8 strikeouts right from the get-go, ended up playing clean. So that was fine. Yeah, he's going to go for 10 plus here against Arizona. Does that sound like fun? I got to see the number on the adjusted line here. But again, I am very, very much in the Spencer Strider over 9.5 at even money, minus 110. I would totally be taking that here. Looking at my numbers here, the guy had a 37% K rate the last 2 years. What are we doing here? Arizona, there's some more strikeouts available there than I think in years past. Only a 19.3% K rate here over the course of the season. Did a pretty good job of avoiding them last year. But guess what? Spencer Strider, this is a different dude. White Sox, Kansas City, probably my least favorite game that exists on the board, purely because I want to bet Brady Singer, and I can't bet Brady Singer because of this number. I can't. It would be unethical here. And it's Fetty, Eric Fetty. First time I got to do that this season. What the hell did he do the morning of and then show up to the ballpark as a 31-year-old who doesn't get swings and misses, and then all of a sudden his first start of the year goes up against the Detroit Tigers and mows down 7? I don't know, but I don't think it's sustainable. Put it that way. 5.45 expected ERA last season, 43.5% hard hit. Some Kansas City bats that I think are more fun than normal. It's currently 2-1 there in that 7th inning for that game. So that one's almost over. Hopefully. Well, I have no skin in the game on that one. But either way, friends, I wish I could be batting. I wish I could be batting for Kansas City. That would require a different body and, like childhood. But Brady Singer, 14.3% hard hit in that first start. Looked electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. 37% K rate. It's got to get better than it was last year. He is too tantalizing of a talent, but 48.6% hard hit last season. I know it's the White Sox. I also know the White Sox are the worst. I mean, they've been horrendous, just downright horrendous, but I can't do it at this kind of a price. Again, it's price sensitivity more than it is anything else. Maybe the run line, maybe. In fact, we're just going to put money line and run line down there. I don't know if I can fire this one up yet. It's going to depend what else shows up on my card. Also, can I get this thing at like -160 and I'll say thank you and just run off into the sunset? That'd be cool. There wasn't even a joke there. I'm so dumb. I do have a play here. Houston, Texas, 9.5 in Texas. It's a pretty wild total here considering the quality of, well, at least one arm. He's the Hunter Brown character who is very good at the throwing of the baseballs here for Houston, no doubt about it. But Cody Bradford, friends. Cody Bradford, an awesome debut here for it. He's a soft tosser. He's never going to impress you with velo. Never, ever, ever going to be that dude. But he's one of the rare examples of a guy that I still think can find ways to succeed because of one thing and one thing only. He is awesome at avoiding fly balls. Well, last time. No, he's awful. He is a fly ball pitcher, ground ball. But I think what I'm getting at here, friends, is that we have a guy that is definitely effective at what he does, Cody Bradford, and that is finding ways to avoid walks, not putting on unnecessary batters, and getting away from what batters want to do, which is obviously get ahead in the count, try to smash. Yeah, the hard hit could be a problem. 43.5% from last season. I keep going back and forth on this one, but it's okay. Cody Bradford, friends, he's definitely somebody that going forward is going to see negative regression based on that first start. But yet 9.5 is a huge number to be staring directly at the face because Hunter Brown is just that good. And this is the one that I obviously spent a lot more time breaking down because, well, he was the interest of getting to this play as is. I don't think I want to be taking Houston as the favorite here. They are rightfully the favorite on the road against the former World Series, defending World Series champions. But Hunter Brown has electric stuff. He did coming into the bigs. It continues here. Over 2,500 pitches at the bigs last season, 26.8% K rate, 4.27 expected ERA. We saw a tiny bit of him out of the pen in 2022, 2.94 expected ERA in that short little debut. But feeling pretty good about him here in this spot going up against Texas, considering Texas is a juggernaut. There's no doubt about it. But the stuff is too good for me to not want to back him in some way, shape, or form. And I can't really get there in terms of -130 there. I think for one night only, I'm willing to try it out because of how big this total is at 9.5, and taking the under, I think, is the prudent play for us here in this spot. Again, landing on more of a key number for us to get down to 9 is a winner. I'm not going to bet an exact runs of 9. That would be wild, wouldn't it? That would be pretty wild. And now that I said that, one of you crazy people is going to do that. But Cody Bradford, awesome job limiting the hard contact for one night only. Can you do it again? That'd be awesome because I got the under at 9.5. We have a total bases play on the board here. Now you got to pay attention because if you bet this at certain places and he pinch hits, and then you're going to be in trouble. But I think he's going to be in the lineup here. I don't have a reason that he wouldn't be. Mitch Garver going up against, well, I should probably start with the pitchers, huh? Good job, Eric. Great effort. Really good. Logan Gilbert and Freddie Peralta. But Fastball Freddie Fastball Freddy, as you start to break him down, there are going to be certain guys that are going to hit fastballs pretty decently. There are going to be certain guys who have a lot of trouble with that fastball. I mean, a lot of people do. He throws it over 50% of the time. Once in a while, it gets barreled, but for the most part, getting strikeouts nonstop. 30.9% last season. First start this season, threw it an absolute metric ton. 8 strikeouts right off the get-go against that decrepit New York Mets lineup thus far. But I think Mitch Garver's a little bit underpriced here, considering it's like even money, like minus 110. It's close to even money to be able to back him here. Now, I'm looking as numbers are starting to show up across the board, minus 110, minus 115. I do think this is one that I would even be playing at those type of numbers, and I have no problem with it, friends. Mitch Garver on DK, minus 115. If that's the only sportsbook you have available to you, I'm just fine with it. But you have to do the work of double-checking that he's actually the one catching baseballs. But again, I have no reason to believe that he won't be out there. It's him and Cal Raleigh, and he's the better catcher between the two. Cal Raleigh was a pretty good hitter, too. Just saying. They're going to do like the back and forth thing with the DH thing, and you got to be paying attention. But Mitch Garver here, pretty good fastball hitter, pretty damn good. Half a freaking base. Just give me a base, bro. And our last game of the night has something that's borderline. Again, there's 3 money lines that stick out to me right from the get-go, and this is the third of them. The Red Sox taking on the Angels. I was a little surprised. Again, more digging in than I have to do, and this is why night before I'm being treading lightly. But you got Griffin Canning as a favorite here in this spot, taking on Cutter Crawford. And Cutter Crawford, I think, is pretty damn good here for Boston. And yeah, this is not the best ballpark to be going into. And going up to Seattle where he had his start, 7 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched, looked awesome. Do I expect that to continue? Probably not based on previous seasons. You go to 2023, tons of data on him there. 3.25 expected ERA was awesome. Had the 4 ERA, just a really damn good pitcher. I like the lineup more than I like the Angels lineup. I like the pitcher more than I like the Angels lineup. And the Angels are favored with Griffin Canning on the mound. I don't get it. Maybe this would be your lap. No, it wouldn't be. Because again, the more I ran it, you still have to contend with Mike Trout. You still have to contend with Cutter Crawford in a more homer-prone ballpark than that of Seattle. More run-friendly ballpark here in Anaheim than that of what you've got in Seattle. So, again, it's just one start. Just one start. Don't want to read too much into it, but I will be backing Boston. There's just no way. There's no way I'm not backing Boston at this number. Just no way. This is going to move, but it's early MLB. I don't want to go crazy. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely, lovely, lovely little spot. That's all I got for you, friends. All I got for you. Check out Odd Chopper. Check out the premium Discord down below. Good talk. Glad we had it. Till next time, friends. Oh, thank you, producer Jacob. Thank you, PetMGM. I'm just going to stop now. First week of MLB in the books. Yay! Tread lightly. Breaking Bad. Good stuff. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets over here on Friday.